There are so many people as we gather here today that are on our hearts. People that through the years have loved us, have shared their lives and their faith with us, sacrificed for us, literally shined God's light into our lives. We have learned from these folks. We have been blessed by every one of them. The one thing I always share with people whenever there is a death in a family is that line from 1 Corinthians 13, chapter 8. Love never ends. The love of every single one of those people we just recognized, and the love of everyone that is on your mind and your heart tonight, lives on inside of you. That love is yours to hold on to forever. It is yours to share with others forever. Even those who we haven't met. Amongst the pictures that we showed in that slideshow, there was a picture in there that was my parents on their wedding day, surrounded by my grandparents on either side, and my grandma, my mom's mom, was in that picture. I never met her, but I can assure you that her love, her faith, and her hope are very much a part of who I am today. When we are brought into this earth by God, we come with gifts. The greatest of those being our love and our hope and our faith. And we share those freely with each other. We witness to those as often as we possibly can. We share those gifts with each other and with God. And when we leave this earth to return into God's arms, into the place that God has prepared for each of us, when we leave, our love and our faith and our hope remain with all whom we have touched. We are witnesses through all times and all places. It is not just about today for us. As disciples, our lives are about the future to come in ways that we cannot even begin to comprehend. Our witness today, our actions today, impact generations to come after us. And sometimes have an impact on people that we will never, ever meet face to face here on this earth. It is remarkable how connected we are within God's family. It is remarkable how beautiful the relationships are between us. God's love living in us. Faith, hope being passed down from generation to generation. Being a kid who grew up in the Chicago area, being a pastor in this area, I would be absolutely remiss if I did not acknowledge the miracle that took place this past week in Chicago and Cleveland. But I have to say this, and I mean this, and it's something that we should all realize and understand. On Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and even some today, as I have interacted with several of my friends, to a person, including myself, talking about my mom and my Aunt Pearl, to a person. We have all been remembering various folks who followed the Cubs day after day, year after year, for an entire lifetime, and who weren't here sitting by our side on Wednesday night as that final out was recorded. And many of us have cried thinking about those people. There's something very special and something very spiritual about the things that we hand down from generation to generation to generation through our families. Sometimes it is as simple as a passion for something, such as baseball and the Cubs and the ivy of Wrigley Field. The truth is that same passion that exists for things like that same passion exists within the church, within the body of Christ. Because as much as I can envision my parents sitting watching that game the other night, and the joy and honestly disbelief that they would have felt, I can equally envision them sitting in these pews amongst all of us with an equal disbelief for where their son has ended up in life, probably. But really, their faith, their hope, their love is what you hear. Their passion is what you feel on a weekly basis when I am blessed to lead a worship service with you. You never met them. There's not a person in this room other than me who knew them. And yet, their faith is very much a part of this community right here, right now. You see, we all have that opportunity to share our passions, to share our spirit and our soul and our love and our hope and our joy and our faith and our tears. And in doing so, we impact the future in ways that we cannot even begin to imagine. Truthfully, the faith and hope and dreams of many are gathered in this room right now with us. Some of the people that we recognized in the slideshow, and some who are simply on our hearts right now, they are all here. That's the beauty of the body of Christ. It transcends all times and places. So as we gather on a night like this, we remember those who have gone before us. I remember my grandpa serving on church councils. I remember my mom teaching Sunday school and leading youth group. I remember my dad doing the finances at church. He was an accountant. It was what he did. He loved it. I remember that. Most of all, I remember two people who both had horrific health problems. One who struggled every day to get out of bed because he had Parkinson's disease for 25 years, starting when he was 38 years old. I remember my mom, who was a juvenile diabetic, and every single morning had to get up and start with an insulin shot, and then throughout the day measure what she was eating and try to offset her sugar levels all day long. No matter how difficult life was for them, they never complained. They still had dreams. They kept their faith and ran the race with perseverance. Every Sunday we got up and went to church, including a Sunday when I was a kid that it was 25 degrees below zero. It didn't matter. We were one of like 4 families in the church, but we were there. Their witness is a part of this community today. And our witness today will bless this congregation and many others for years to come in ways that we can't even begin to imagine. Because every one of us in here has had a reach. Every one of us in here has taught others, whether it be Sunday school or English or math or music. Every one of us has role modeled love for others, love for neighbor, sacrifice for others. Every one of us has role modeled our faith. Every one of us has openly shared our dreams and our hopes with those around us. That love, that faith, that hope is out in this world forever. We have no idea who will be touched by those gifts. The only thing we know for sure is that people will be touched. They will be touched by who we are and what we do. So today, we give thanks to God for those who have gone before us, those whose love and faith is a part of us today. And we give thanks because we are called to be witnesses in this time and place. And even though we don't realize it sometimes, and even though we don't understand it most of the time, the truth is who we are today will impact this world for generations to come. What an amazing gift. Thanks be to God. Amen.